everybody. Welcome to the SnoWest Show. We are off to a terrible start already. Welcome to the SnoWest Show, powered by Trails West RPM Trailers. We just picked up our 28-foot RPM gooseneck with altitude package, and you can go to trailswesttrailers.com and build your own trailer and check out everything that Trails West has to offer for the new RPMs. We're here today. Our guest today is Dustin Pancheri with Klim, and to his left we got Bruce Kerbs, and we got Justin Stevens, familiar face. You guys see him on dang near every episode we do. He never misses a beat. And new to the show, Broc Genta over here.
Dude, I come to way more shows than Rhett ever thought about coming to.
That ain't saying much.
I'm just saying.
Always on time?
And I'm usually on time.
Okay.
You said 1 o'clock last week, so
yeah, I did. At one point it was 1 o'clock, and then at one point it was 12:30.
that was in my brain. So
yeah,
it's like texting my wife. Nothing ever gets through. So.
Does she watch these? I'm just curious.
No.
Okay.
Does she watch your thread? You know, between
no,
between
I don't think she
SnoWest
watches
crew?
anything.
Okay,
this will be Justin's last podcast.
Oh yeah. Thanks for all the memories, Justin.
Yeah,
it's been real. Man, we're going to talk. We teased this on a couple episodes. We're going to have Dustin on and talk about goggles, because there's a lot of technology in goggles, and Klim manufactures its own goggles, which is unique to the sport. A lot of companies will outsource to other companies or go to a company. I'm sure you can attest to this. Go to a company, buy a previously used frame.
Open mold. Yeah.
Is that what they called?
Yep,
open mold, and then start use this. I mean, I've seen a lot of frames that look eerily like a Klim or eerily like 100%, come out on another brand.
There's actually a story on that too. And we didn't even talk about this before. But we could talk about it. Like, our very first goggle never went to production, and another company.
I
bought
remember that.
Yeah.
So who bought it?
100%. Our very first goggle lens or goggle frame ended up getting bought by 100%, and that was their first frame. So if you go back to the Radius goggle, you notice how the Radius goggle had a lot of similarities to the original 100%.
Yep.
That's why.
And the shape of the lens.
Yeah.
And everything. So that was literally the frame that Klim put all the money into.
We never went to production with the first one. The Radius was the second one. The first one got purchased by 100%.
So how does that work? If you're paying the manufacturer to design the mold and come up with all that stuff, and then do they own the mold?
No, we owned the mold, and that's why we sold it. I can't remember exactly what happened. It was kind of right before I went to work for Klim, but we developed it. I remember seeing it, and then something happened. I don't remember if it was like a change of factory or staff, or like something happened to where we couldn't go to production with it, and so we sold the rights, basically the
so Klim actually sold it, not the manufacturer,
or the factory, like whatever arrangement we had with the factory at the time, whether we owned the rights or they did, or we had money into it. Somehow there was an exchange to where like 100% got that.
Does that ever happen though at the factory level where they sell the patterns? Like, I've seen a lot of suits that look.
They do. Yeah, factories will develop stuff all the time, and with the purpose of selling it to another company. Yeah.
Interesting.
Whether it's they sell the rights to the mold, or they just come with an agreement saying, we'll manufacture this exclusively for you, even though we own the mold. So there's different ways to do it. But
so what's your position at Klim? You're not the goggle guy, but obviously you're very tech savvy, and you get into this
I'm
stuff.
in marketing and do all kinds of stuff. I work with the athletes, shows, special projects, contracts.
You're in charge of setting up the Heydays booth, making sure that all comes together.
Yep. I'm on that team, so
taking care of all the Klim backcountry athletes and ambassadors, and
Yep. It's probably the funnest position in the company, in my opinion.
Is it though?
Well, it's a lot of work, but you get to rub shoulders with a lot of really cool people, and it's not like you're just doing the same boring thing all the time. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of changes and a lot happening, and you got to be on your toes, but get to go to shows, and after the show, sometimes it feels like you have to go to the shows, but it's really cool.
And you spend a lot of time on the snow though, and you hill climb. So you go to the Rimshaw hill climbs to both represent Klim because you're a big sponsor, but also to race. You and your son race.
Yep, we started last year. Decided it was something we could do together, and just.
How's that going?
It's awesome. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I don't know. He wanted to try racing, and he went with one of his buddies, and I kind of never really did want to race, because it's like you show up to a race and you get 10 minutes of seat time or whatever, versus you go mountain ride and you can burn a tank out, right? But then you get there in the environment, like the whole family atmosphere of racing is pretty unique. And it's the same in motocross or, a couple other things, but hill climbing is a pretty tight family. And Jaden and I showed up to one race and watched, and I'm like, this sucks watching. Like, I want to be on a sled. I want to do it. And so signed up just to see if I could even be competitive and qualify in Pro Masters, and luckily I got qualified. And I'm like, all right, let's try to take this serious and just see what happens, And
Yeah.
so,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun. We got to get you guys out on the race course at one point.
You should do it.
Where were we talking
should do
about
it.
doing? Was it at Heydays, or we were talking about doing like a media class?
Oh, yeah, I think it was Heydays.
Oh no, it was in Utah when we did the Rimshaw show.
Oh, yeah, it was
with
on
Cody.
the podcast.
It was in Utah. It was
with
in Utah.
Mason.
Oh, you were there.
I was there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was Brock, my buddy Brock and I.
Brock was there. Oh, nice.
Was he on time?
I believe we started late there too.
Well, that wasn't because of me. That was because of the Rimshot guys. I was there.
It was Mason's fault.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Mason? You just got thrown under the bus.
No, we were talking about we should do a media class, and the key to it is though, we get to go pick our sleds. We don't have to bring our own sleds. We just walk through the pits while everybody's in the trailer, and we get to pick whatever sled we want to race
Yeah.
while they're all there watching the live feed, and then we go line up and we just get a run, and then we get to go home.
Hey, let's do
We're
it.
done.
If I remember, one of you said something about Keith walks out of his trailer and his sled's gone, and they want to know where it's at, and one of you had it or something like that.
Yeah, so I think I get dibs on Keith's open mod.
Keith's mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my first pick.
There's a couple of pretty sweet mods in that paddock. I'd want to throw a leg over all of them if I could.
That would be fun. I'm gonna try to do well. That's the thing. I want to do more on those sleds because they're so cool. There's so much trick technology and there's so many one-off components. But because there's so many one-off components and trick technology, I can't. Like there's stuff on Keith's sled I can't show people.
There's
They
a
won't-
reason that the side panels don't ever get opened. Yeah.
Yeah, we went down that road once and we were halfway through filming and Keith's like, I better make a phone call, and that got shut down immediately.
We were trying to have, I don't know if I should say this. We were trying to have one of those mods in the booth at Heydays, and that we got told no there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to try, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like going look at an Eli Tomac bike at Supercross pits, and it's a little different there because they're way more open about what they're developing,
Yeah.
and what they're willing to talk about and share. And so if you can see it, if it's on the bike, you can see it, but
Yeah.
on the sleds, they don't really want to share that stuff.
It's a little easier to conceal, too. You've got a little bit different with side panels and stuff. So,
Yeah. So you got some goggles here, and what we had talked about in the last couple episodes that we're going to do with Klim, and you're here to kind of kick this off with this, is we want to test two aspects of goggles. Well, three really, because we're going to get into like the heated E-Fire series as well. But we want to talk about goggle frames because you have 4 different frames currently on the market, and they all fit your face differently. And that's why there's a variety of frames and lenses out there.
And we should get into the fit part at some point in time in the conversation.
Well, let's get into the fit point right off the bat. And then the second element is going to be, we're going to take one goggle. I think it's just going to be the Edge E-Fire, and we're all going to go out and ride with it and swap colors of lenses throughout the day, and then come back and we'll just talk about, okay, an overcast, what did you like? What color did you like?
Can we get 5 different pairs so I don't have to have Justin sweat on my face, when we're switching?
Well, you two can share, and
Oh,
then we'll
okay.
get like
All
4
right.
other pairs for the
All right.
All I have left is pink. Are you all right with that? Or? You're good? Okay.
Hey, I like pink.
No, I'm just.
Yeah.
We'll get you as many pairs as you need. Actually, here's the pink set right here.
there you go.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
Pretty.
That'd look good.
That's got Brock's name all over it.
They're popular.
Is that the deal you were signing with John the other day?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I can't talk about that right now. But I was in the principal's office.
That's
Those
under
are
wraps.
John's
too.
John walked over and pulled the shades down.
Well, let's dive right in though. Let's
that could go somewhere.
like why do companies, and why does Klim specifically have so many different goggle frames? Like, let's start with that.
Yeah, so I mean, every rider has a different head shape, size, all that, right? So it's really kind of a two-part thing. It's the helmet and the goggle, and they have to work together. So we can just slide a set of goggles on right now and pull it up to your face and kind of get an idea how that feels. But that you're never going to wear it that way, right? Like, we're not skiing, we're snowmobiling, we're going to have a helmet on. And so the minute you put the helmet on, that changes where that goggle sits. That really determines where the goggle sits on the face. So that a big part of it is and the reason I brought the helmet is so you, like, this eye port opening has a lot to do with where that goggle's going to sit, as far as up and down and then as far as how far back it pulls into the face. So at each helmet, with the size of that eye port opening, and Klim helmets have a larger eye port opening than almost every helmet in the market. That was engineered that way on purpose. But that's going to determine how much of the goggle seals to the face and seals to the helmet, as far as like the size of the foam and how that butts up against around the frame of the helmet or the eye port, and then also how far back it can pull, and then how far up or down. Somebody with maybe a higher nose bridge needs that goggle to sit in a certain place versus somebody who does not, or vice versa. If I have a taller head, that means the helmet's going to sit higher on my head, and that's going to bring the goggle up or down. If I have, maybe a shorter head, then the helmet's going to drop, and that's going to bring that nose opening down onto the, of the goggle down onto the nose, and could put pressure on the nose. So the relationship between the goggle and the helmet is pretty critical. And a lot of people, I don't think about that when they're purchasing. We talk to people at shows all the time, and it's like, well, what helmet are you using? How's the eye port going to position that goggle? So not only is the frame size and the shape important, but then also how the relationship with the helmet and how that's going to position the goggle is really important.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think, in the industry and in probably every industry, just get one helmet. They buy the helmet that looks cool. They go online or they see it on Instagram, like, well, I want to wear the helmet that guy's wearing. Mm-hmm. And then they go look online and they pick out that helmet in the color that they want, and then that's the only helmet they ever really wear.
Yeah.
So they never really experience what you're talking about. Like, oh man, maybe the helmet is messing up my vision, my ride comfort throughout the day. Like,
I was gonna say, honestly, when you were talking about that, I'm like, yeah, most people probably have an ill-fitting helmet.
Yeah.
Like I'd say most are too big, not tight enough, because I think it's actually not super comfortable to have a properly fitting helmet. It's a little tight. Mm-hmm. And like you said, once it's a little low, all of a sudden you get pressure on the bridge of your nose, or you got other things. But like you said, I don't know how many people actually spend time seeing which helmet's built for their type of head either, aside from the goggles. But
well, and on top of that, you can even fit the helmet to your needs a little bit better. So for example, interchangeable cheek pads, and then the headliner itself. So with guys that race, or even consumers sometimes, will end up, say they'll buy a large helmet, but they need the helmet to sit higher or lower. So maybe we go to a medium headliner, and that'll raise the helmet a little bit. Or vice versa, it's a large helmet, but they've got real skinny face. We'll go to the next size larger cheek pads. And so, being able to tune the helmet is a big portion of, getting that comfort level. And even the breathability in the helmet too, like getting the moisture and the air away from your face and getting it to be able to flow through the helmet. That's a part of it as well, and we'll talk about that when it comes to fogging. But
yeah, when you're talking about like tuning the helmet and the cheek pads, the only time I've ever really tried that was with the Klim F5, because it's a unique helmet. It's a different shell than the F4, F3, and on my head it just fits weird. And so I've tried multiple years to run the F5. Just to make it work, and I've had to change out the cheek pads and the helmet liners and everything, and then I just go back to the F3 because the F3 just fits the way it is.
Yeah, and the shell does affect that a lot, and that's also another reason why we make different helmets, is to try to get a little bit different fit to work on, different types of heads and riding styles and things like that. Same with the goggle lenses. So, most premium helmets on the market are tunable with cheek pads and helmet liner. You just have to do a little bit of homework to understand what your options there are.
So when Klim, since Klim has the resources to design a helmet and then design goggles, do you just design goggles that fit your own helmets, or are you taking into consideration that there's 100 helmets on the market?
Yeah, we have to, right? Because we know that the snowmobile industry is made up of a lot of different products, and so we need to try to make things that are going to be as universal as possible, but we can't do that at the expense of function. So there's it gets tricky, because we want to offer, the most functional product and the most comfortable product, but that also might mean that it won't work that way for everybody or in every application, right? So you have to kind of find that happy medium. And there are some helmets that these larger framed goggles don't fit in great. Like, that is a thing, right? And so we did have to just kind of go with the law of averages. Like, we bring in a whole bunch of helmets. We kind of see where we need to be, but it really was designed off of our helmet, specifically the F3 and the F5. That eye port was engineered to be larger because we wanted to go with the larger goggle frame in order to get a wider field of view. So at the end of the day, like, why do we wear goggles? Well, we wear goggles for two reasons: to protect our eyes, right, and our face, and to control the light. Those are really the two main reasons we wear goggles. So visibility is key. Clarity is key. That's what is going to keep us safe. So if we're in the elements, we want that goggle to seal off real good. If it's a super bright sunny day, we want a lens that's going to make it so we're not squinting or getting a headache. If it's a really flat day, we want to change the lens to give us the best visibility possible. If I'm riding in the snow, I need to protect my eyes. You know, I want to keep from getting cold or snow in there or whatever. And so from a functional level, I think we all buy goggles a lot of times because of the aesthetics, but the real reason we have them is because we need them, right? And so I guess I kind of go into that because that's where a premium goggle really kind of sets itself apart, is that clarity, the protection, the vision. And, you know, kind of like we talked before, like I learned that lesson the hard way when I had my accident in 2022. And to me, before that, like, goggles were just kind of aesthetics until they really literally saved my vision. And
well, let's jump in and talk about that. Before we get into that segment, I gotta talk a little bit about our title sponsor here, Trails West Trailers. Like I said, we just picked up our trailer, and you know, this is the trailer that we work out of at Snowshoot. You know, we'll park our Trails West RPM gooseneck at Snowshoot. We'll work out of that thing for a week, and it's great to me because we have a heated facility there. Basically, it's like almost rolling up with a container that's got a furnace in it, and you know, tables and chairs and boot dryers and all that crap. Yeah. But you know, goggles wise, I always take my goggles. They've got a glove heater in these Trails West with the extreme cold package. They've got, you know, 2 40,000 BTU furnaces in there, and they've got a glove heater up on the top there at the gooseneck. And I always stick my goggles up there, and it's perfect for that because it dries everything out. You know, hang up your gear, stick your goggles on there, put your helmet up in the heated cabinet, and put your backpack, everything kind of laid out, fire up the heater. In fact, I'll leave my stuff in that trailer overnight. Just fire it up, let it run for an hour, come back the next morning, turn the heater on, go in and get dressed. Everything's dry, ready to go. So go to trailswesttrailers.com and build your RPM gooseneck bumper pull. Check out the altitude package. That's new for 2026. And a lot of cool stuff there at trailswesttrailers.com. So Dustin, let's talk about that. I've kind of had a similar experience a couple times, like taking a branch to the face, but you had one that pretty much knocked you out and did some damage. It
really sucks because, you know, you wear all this protective equipment and you hope you never have to really test it.
Right.
And then on the day that it does, you're like, it just changes the way you look at everything. It's just like anything else, like airbag in a car, seatbelt, whatever. Like, it's all the same. But goggles, I think for most of us, a lot of people that are just buying them, they're kind of like, oh, it's an aesthetic. It's part of my outfit. I want to look cool, whatever. But at the end of the day, they have to be functional. And for me, I was following a buddy through the trees, and they were huge trees up on the backside of Sawtell, in an area we'd never been, kind of exploring. And he went between 2 really big trees, and the branches were kind of together. And so the branches kind of flipped back, right? And so as I went in behind him, I knew those branches were probably going to come back and try to get me. So I turned and ducked. You know, don't want to break my visor. So I turned and ducked and kind of rode through him blind, right? He was probably 30 feet in front of me. Well, what I didn't know was on the other side of the tree was a great big dead log that had fallen kind of like at a 45, sticking out. And when I rode through and I was just starting to turn my head back, and of course, naturally we close our eyes, whether we really need to or not, right? We close our eyes. So I never saw the log. And it was probably 12-inch log. And then it had, you know, shoots coming off of it where the branches had originally been. And I rode right into it. And it just happened to be this angle where kind of when I turned myself back up, you know, my visor was kind of down and I was coming back up, and it hit me right across the face. So basically it almost like between the visor and the chin bar essentially is where it got me. and it was almost like the perfect size. And I don't really remember. I mean, I kind of remember hitting it, and then the next thing I know, I'm like 20 feet away. Snowmobile's kind of in a tree well, and I'm off to the side. And I mean, it had broke. What it had done is the goggle had taken the full force pretty much back into the eye port of the helmet. So it had shoved that goggle right into my face so hard that it actually kind of cut around my face. Like the frame, it compressed the foam. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say cut, but it left an outline maybe. Mm-hmm. And the most of the pressure was in the lens, was on the lens. And then, where the branches, the broken off branches, had basically like pretty much hit where my eyes were. And it broke my nose. It actually destroyed. I had to have reconstruction surgery. This whole top of my nose was reconstructed. And I had black eyes. And just my whole face was just bruised and the outline from the goggle, and it kind of cracked the helmet on the edge a little bit where it kind of took the majority of the helmet the hit.
But did you break your visor?
Unfortunately, I did.
Dang it.
Yeah. Wasn't able to save the visor. Yeah. So, I kind of come to. I don't think I really passed out, but it did. I was loopy a little bit, and I came to, and I just, I don't know how gory I want to be, but it made a pretty big mess, like blood, and took my helmet, get my helmet off, and luckily I had a trauma kit in the back of my sled, and I'm laying right by it, and so I just kind of turn around and start opening it, and I'm trying to like protect, do this and not get my gear bloody or whatever, and I'm trying to get my trauma kit out and trying to get on the radio to tell my buddy to come back because I don't know how bad I am. I haven't seen my face. I don't know really what the damage is. I just know that my nose is feels like I just got, hit in the face with a baseball bat, basically. It really hurt. So he comes back, and I'm just like, how bad is it? And he's like, it's not great.
It's not great, but there's good powder down here.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
We were in a great zone. Never been in there before. So I took my phone out and like did the whole look at yourself, like take the picture. I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's going to leave a mark, permanent mark maybe. So guy, anyways, got the blood and quit bleeding. And then I had to get out of there, and it was, dizzy and all kinds of fun stuff. But I guess the point is like the goggles saved my eyes. Like there's no question. If I wouldn't have been wearing goggles, or if I'd been wearing cheap goggles or poor goggles, I could,
Yeah.
a guy could be blind, like, or lose an eye or whatever, like insert whatever bad scenario you want to in there. We kind of think the worst sometimes, but those pictures I showed you. Like
can I throw them on here? So
yeah,
people
you can use them.
Right.
You can use them. Like the lens is collapsed, but it stayed in the frame. And there's actually some certifications that we certify the goggles to. One of them is a safety certification. It's the same one that you certify safety glasses. It's an ANSI test.
Awesome.
And a couple of those tests, you have to shoot a 6-millimeter ball at 250 feet per second at the lens, and the lens cannot break and it cannot dislodge. That's how they test the ANSI test for safety glasses. And so we passed that test. And then the other one is a puncture test where they take a really sharp, heavy object and they drop it through a tube. They put the goggle at the bottom, they drop it through a tube and see if that sharp object will pierce the lens or displace it out of the frame. And we passed that test too. And as we've done some comparisons throughout other goggles in the industry, I don't know that there's any other goggles. I think there are maybe one other goggle that does pass. But we're the only ones that'll pass those tests to our knowledge from what we've done some baseline testing with.
What goggle was it?
Yeah, I'm not. What I was wearing?
Yeah.
Edge.
Okay.
I was wearing the Edge.
Because I remember you showed me the picture, and the lens is like deformed from taking on the shape of the log and everything, or your face.
Yeah.
It's got little highlight indents in it and stuff.
It got pinched.
No, that's crazy because in 1997, I crashed at the sand dunes on a dirt bike, overjumped and landed flat and bounced into the lava rocks. And I took a rock to the face and it split the Scott goggle lens in half, like cracked it. And then that crack sliced my forehead open. And I had to go get stitches from that. So to take that kind of an impact like you're talking about and not break that lens into pieces, because that's another thing is if it breaks, now all of a sudden all that broken material is coming out your face.
Yeah, or in your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, and I didn't realize at the time, like, how you ride long enough, the chances of you getting in an accident or having something happen go up, right? Like, if we get a lot of days on the snow, which that's our goal, like, eventually a mistake or an accident's kind of going to happen, for most of us. Yeah. And I've been pretty fortunate for years. But my time was up, I guess. I made one little mistake. And I could have prevented it, right? Like, I could have
opened your eyes.
I could have slowed down. I could have not been worried about my visor. Like, I could have probably reprioritized what I was doing there a little bit. But
Dustin's like, I know we passed this ANSI test, but I'm going to go out and make sure.
It's like real world
durability.
durability.
Yeah, real world durability.
You sure about that? Yeah.
Bruce carries a trauma kit.
Yeah.
Stant socks, am I right?
Socks.
Stand socks.
He has half of a trauma kit
That
now.
was trauma.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
That story's coming. Stay for it
Why are you
someday.
taking away from Dustin's story right here?
You got to lighten the mood a little bit. Yeah.
Wow. We got lightened. That's for
Your
sure.
story's way funnier than mine.
I don't remember it that well, so
Yeah, I don't either.
Was it traumatizing?
it wasn't
Like,
that
we need some therapy
traumatizing.
here?
No,
He closed his eyes. He closed his eyes.
Well, we all
also.
remember it,
one of
so
those
when we do
gr-
tell
it
it,
was
it's
one
coming
of
out in
those
great detail.
grand feelings. It was great.
No, I think it's great. I mean, back in the day, you'd like say you go buy goggles because they look cool, and some of them were cheap. But it is cool, the technology that's getting better. I mean, we've all been whipped in the face by a branch or something, and big scratch down the goggle, and you're mad because you scratch your goggles. But then you're like, man, I'm glad my eyes are still here. So it is cool that they're that durable and that you guys put that much work into it to make sure that they are. They're more than just a goggle. Like they're there to protect your face. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
And there's value in that. Like the fact that you guys passed those tests, like there's value in that. Like, and I don't know if that impacts the price of the goggle, but man, it's worth it. Like if you're
does.
looking at these things as eye protection, like long term, like come home from the ride still be intact.
Yeah.
That's worth it.
And
That's cool.
realistically, if you're riding in the tight trees, like you actually need it. I mean, I don't think we probably don't realize how close we are to that type of scenario a lot of the time. Whether you're following a buddy or just entering a section of trees, all it would take is for something sharp to come through, and tag you. So
Yeah, because we've all been stabbed with.
I was gonna say,
Sticks
yeah, I
in our
remember I
clothing and
bought
stuff.
a brand new coat a couple of years ago. Went through one tree and it super sharp, but it tore it, and you're like, oh, brand new coat.
Did you guys ever ride with Jimmy Cote? He works with BRP Skidoo.
Hey guys, Dan Adams here with Next Level Riding Clinics. Sitting here in the front part of this trailer, there's just so many memories that I've had with these trailers and with Trails West as a company. These guys are just born and bred snowmobilers, and they just think the way we do, and I love knowing that each and every day that I hook onto one of these things and go ride.
He used to be like part of the marketing, engineering team, integration team, and so he would come ride with us. And he was on one ride with us. Were you on that ride? Because it was a sneak peek up in Island Park behind the cabin on Sawtail. And it might have
I've
been,
ridden with Jimmy, but not on that ride.
maybe it was just a SnoWest deal, but he did the same thing, like one of those old dead stand trees, like was trying to get up through this gap and get and hit a branch that was coming off the tree, not the actual tree itself, and it went either under his goggle frame or through the lens into the goggle and poked him in the cheek right there, right between the bottom of his nose and his cheek, and put a hole in his face, and it just, but now he's got a cool story to tell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to tell the stories sometimes, but not making the stories not super fun.
No,
No,
for sure. So
or getting roosted. That's the other thing. Getting roosted.
yeah.
Like, there's been several times I've been roosted, and a sled trying to get up something, and you're like, somebody had to go pull a ski or whatever, and or you're standing in a trench and they grab something, and I mean, I've seen guys get hit in the head with rocks and stuff, wearing it. Like, I'll even leave my helmet on now in that situation
getting people
because
out.
yeah.
Yeah, because Bruce, when you give Bruce a ski pull or a push from behind, it's full throttle.
That's right.
He'll bury you.
Yeah.
Full commit.
Roost you with dirt.
Standing on Jackson.
Yeah,
that would be
there's a reason those guys wear helmets.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the frames. which frame, like, what are the different characteristics of the frame? Do you guys wear these three? Have you tried the Edge, the Aeon, and the Rage on?
I've tried the Aeon.
That's a cool one.
Yep.
Comfort-wise, to me,
That's
one's
what
the
I've
most
been
comfortable.
riding the last couple of years.
I really like that one.
And I'm gonna, because a lot of people say it like you do, and we did some. I don't know why we do it this way, but it's actually we call it the Eon, but the spelling looks like Aeon.
Well, don't spell it with an A then.
I
Eon is spelled
I know.
E-A-E-O-N.
I mean, I can't spell anyway, but I wasn't the guy that named that one. But yeah, it's so funny because people call up and they're like, "Hey, I'm wearing your Aeon, Eon, Weon, whatever, you know." And yeah, but there's a difference in the frame size, the frame shape, and the lens type. So between the Rage, the Edge, and the Eon, and I don't have the Vipers here, but we also have another one called the Viper. I meant to bring it, and I
Should have
forgot.
called it the Aaron.
Yeah.
The Aaron.
This is the Aaron. This is the Balake.
Yeah.
And this is the J. Quillen.
There you go.
But like the tech that goes into the lenses is also probably as much or more important. Is from a clarity standpoint and a protection and a light control standpoint. There's a lot of high-end technology in these lenses. And some of this carries over from our motorcycle side as far as the shields that we do in our helmets and things like that, so we can kind of share some of these technologies back and forth. But basically, every time you add a process or a chemical or something to a lens, it pushes the price up. And so you can get these really super fancy lenses, just kind of like glasses or sunglasses in the same way. Mm-hmm. And all this really neat technology, and they're super expensive, right? And so when you talk about a premium goggle and you look at all the goggles on the market and the price differences between them, generally speaking, the reason a premium goggle is more money is because there's simply more technology in it, and it's deceiving because you can't necessarily see it. Like I'm looking at this lens, well, yeah, that's a kind of a rounded lens. All right, well, that's a flat. Yeah, they're pretty similar. There's not that much difference. But what you don't understand is how the lens is made, the material that the lens is made out of, what coatings are on the lens, what process it takes to get it to that shape. Without
distorting your field of vision, because you
Right.
do that with a cheap lens, and it's
Yep.
like an old Skidoo Stratos windshield. Shout out to people from the 80s. Nobody's going to get that one.
You got to be at least our age. But yeah, like, you know, is it a die cut flat sheet versus is it injected molded? Those processes change the cost and the clarity. So if we pre-injection mold it, that can help us with the clarity. And then also as far as like the coatings we put on for light control, also for hardness, and also for moisture absorption. Mm-hmm. So inside like the cellulose coating and the super anti-fog that we use. I mean, a lot of that stuff is proprietary to us that we've spent years kind of trying to develop. And then also our factory, we co-develop stuff with our factory. Because they build so many lenses for so many different applications. I mean, one of the factories we were using was building fighter pilot helmets. So we try to go align ourselves with these really premium factories and partners. One, so we can share technology, and then also two, because we can control that process better and get a better end product. The thing about snowmobiling and even dirt bikes, as we all know, is like visibility is always a challenge. I mean, pretty much always a challenge. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, we always want to we shoot for that blue sky day, but we ride way more poor conditions than we do good conditions, you know? Yeah. And so getting lens choice, and that's why I was really excited about your test on how you're going to go out and test all these different lenses, because most of us don't want to buy 12 lenses to try to figure out which one's going to work best for us on what day. And even though we offer them, they're available. It's like, well, most of us are just going to have one or two. Maybe we'll have 2 pairs of goggles or a spare lens, or maybe we'll have 1 pair of goggles and a couple different lenses, light lens, you know, a light condition lens and a dark condition lens or whatever. But
Brock, what's your go-to lens color? It's like I see you in a dark lens every now and then.
I can't remember all the lens colors. They got like 12 of them.
But what do you have in your? You don't know what you have in your goggles at home?
No, I don't. I haven't opened that bag since last year.
Jeez, you're probably going to be on the
Look,
TV.
There's Rhett.
There's Rhett.
I think
it's a yellow guy.
I have that exact
amber,
lens. I have that exact lens right there that's in that Aeon.
The red tin one?
Mm-hmm. I do have that one.
Then
I have one of the darker ones.
Justin, what's yours?
I think I'm usually yellow, amber, or rose sometimes, but
I like the rose. for some reason.
Rose is pretty popular in low light conditions. Amber is pretty popular.
Persimmon.
Persimmon, yep.
Persimmon.
That's that kind of brownish color,
Yeah.
brownish orange. Yep.
I just like a lens that has a red gradient to it, a warm feel.
Yeah.
Like I don't want a gray tint, and that's my problem with like the cool colored mirror lenses. Most of the mirror tints are a gray tint, so they look cool from the outside, but from the inside looking out, it just puts this dark, cold cast on everything. And I ride 99% of the time in cloudy overcast. This farmer over here rides all the bluebird days.
Yeah.
Yep. You just don't wear goggles on them days.
Out in the field?
Yeah, out in the field.
Like literally in the farm field?
Yeah, you don't need goggles.
I would say, I mean, if I go out with a pair of goggles, maybe I've only got one, maybe a spare, but I very rarely go out with something that I'm planning for full sun, because worst case scenario, maybe things are just a little bright.
Yeah,
but at least your visibility, it's those low light days that seem to kick your butt the most. So
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have an automatic, what do you call that one? Where it changes.
Photochromatic.
Photochromatic.
Yeah,
I
photochromatic.
me no
lens,
good
yep.
with words.
We have a couple of those. Yep. Clear to smoke or yellow to smoke, and basically they're UV activated, so the UV light darkens them up. It took us a few years to kind of get that technology to work better in the colder conditions, because the cold does affect it.
interesting.
So the stuff we have now is kind of been refined to work better in the cold. We've had that in our motorcycle segment for quite a while, and even the off-road segment. But then when you get them cold, like that transition time of, specifically dark back to light can be slower. And so
Like how long?
it depends on the conditions. It ranges. It can be anywhere from a minute to 20 if it's super cold and like the conditions aren't right. I found that mine are usually fairly quick, but like when we first started testing with it, like we didn't release it because we needed to get that time to be realistic, more applicable, and so it took us a while to refine that.
Do you guys ride with photochromatics? Have you tried those?
I haven't ridden with
Never
those.
have.
I tried them once, but kind of the same thing. I didn't like them. They didn't change very quick. This was a long time ago too, so it was just I think probably a pair of Scots or something like that had a photochromatic lens that we could put in. And at first it sounds really cool because you do sometimes ride in changing conditions, and it'd be nice to have, but I don't think I used them very long because I wasn't super impressed. So.
And there was companies that had them out before we did for sure, and just like the functionality wasn't quite what we wanted it to be.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the SnoWest Show powered by Trails West RPM. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and check out all of our past episodes and get alerts on new shows. Real quick, I just want to say thanks to the great companies that support the SnoWest Show. Fly Racing is the #1 gear brand in Supercross and Motocross, and they bring that same product innovation to snowmobiling. Whether it's monosuits, helmets, boots, gloves, or goggles, Fly Racing has you covered for your snowmobiling gear head to toe. Check them out at flyracing.com or Fly Racing Snow on socials. And thanks to Deviant Ink for supporting the show. Head on over to deviantink.com and check out their custom wrap builder with their new interactive design tools that make designing and customizing wraps easy. Their new colorizer tool randomizes color combinations until you land on the look you love. Then try the design mixer tool to see all the Deviant Ink designs in the colors you've selected. Check it out at deviantink.com. And thanks to Tempest Optics. These goggles feature an automatic lens heating system that sets the bar for fog prevention. We wear them, so does Steve Martin and Tony Jenkins and a bunch of other riders. They have a huge assortment of lens options that are easy to swap, a lot of different color combinations, photochromatics. We get 3 to 5 rides on a single charge out of these, and they will stay charged for a very long time. No on and off switch to mess with, no external battery pack, no power cords. Just charge them and ride. Check them out at tempestoptics.com and on social media. We've seen EasyLink on trucks, snowmobiles, and UTVs for a while now. EasyLink connects your truck, your UTV, and your snowmobile with one device, making diagnostics, recalibrations, flash support, and factory functions easier than ever. One device, one platform, all your machines connected with EasyLink. See more at easylink.com. Ibex is your one-stop shop for clutching, tuning, intakes, and turbo performance for your Polaris, Skidoo, Lynx, and Arctic Cat snowmobiles. We've tested Ibex's clutching kits and found gains in mountain riding. Same goes for ECU tuning and their turbo kits for Arctic Cat 858s. Give your sled the boost it deserves with quality components from Ibex this season. Check them out at ibex.com or ibex_LLC on Instagram. Caliber Products has been the leader in trailer glides and snowmobile shop wheels for years, but did you know they also do flooring for trailers and shops, ramps, and a bunch of other accessories? One of the coolest things they offer is the Traction Ladder HD. This allows your track to engage with the ramp sooner for safer, more controlled loading on any sled deck ramp or bed loading ramp. Check out all the products Caliber offers at caliberproductsinc.com. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show.
and so it took us a little while to get, to develop what we wanted to get them there. And that's actually kind of same for the heated goggle too. Like it took us a while to get the heated goggle the way we wanted it before we released it. Like we were, I think we were 5 years working on our heated goggle before we released it to the public. Like went through a ton of different versions of them.
So give us a full rundown on that, because that's unique, because you can run, I could pull this lens off and stick it on that goggle.
Well, this is a Rage. No,
Well,
but edge to edge,
an
yes,
edge
you could.
non-E-fire, yeah. Edge lens is universal. It's the goggle
Yes.
that heats and does all that, the electronic element.
Kind of like the lens has the heating element in it, the bus bar, and then it has the connections, and so you could put a non-heated lens.
Oh, that was what I was wondering. Can you put a non-heated
Yes,
lens
you
on
can.
an edge fire?
Yep, you can.
Okay.
It's just not going to heat. But
Okay.
yes, it'll physically fit. All the fitment is all exactly the same. So we've got the control center / battery over here on the side, and then a USB-C cable that goes over and connects to the bus bar, which leads. That's what heats the lens. And then if you look inside, there's a little teeny tiny part on the right-hand side of the frame where there's a couple of LED light indicators.
Okay.
So that's going to give you the mode that you're in. So that's the only difference. Like everything else in the frame is the same. Still a magnetic encapsulation system, outriggers, all that. One difference is because of the extra weight on the side, we add a third silicone strip to the straps, so they'll stay in place a little bit better. But honestly, when this project started, like our whole goal, we didn't want a Me Too. We didn't want a Me Too goggle. That's kind of one of our sayings inside the building is like, we're not just going to build a Me Too. It has to have some technology. It's got to have some features and unique benefits that set us apart, and we want to do it better, right? And so that's why it took us 5 years to really put this together. Because the technology was kind of changing at the time in the industry, and we just knew there were certain goals we needed to hit and that we wanted to build something that just performed better and solved some of the problems that we felt like could be improved in goggles, specifically heated goggles.
What were those specific problems?
Battery life, weight, functionality as far as where the heat in the lens itself is, how clear it is, how even it is. We have some proprietary technology that makes sure that the heat is completely even all the way across the lens. We're the only ones that have it. It's a grid pattern. We call it a microgrid pattern. And we're using the way we use the bus bars across the top and the bottom, and then electronic signatures to control how that heat goes within it. And you can't see it, but there's microscopic grids. Almost kind of imagine like a screen door.
Yeah.
Like
In the lens there is? So you're looking through
it's
that?
applied to the lens. Yeah, you can't
okay. see
see it, but it's there. Yep. And so that's all like we developed it. That's all proprietary to us as far as how we're heating it. We developed our own bus bar heating element system that controls the ohm resistance, that we can control how much energy it takes to get the heat across that and keep it even. So we played a lot with that stuff. We played a lot with the control center and the battery system because we wanted it to be modular. We wanted people to have options. So you can take this off the strap. We have a little Y cable right here, and you can literally put it in your pocket, or you can hook it into a charger and have power the whole time if you want. So we wanted people to just have as many options as they could. If you want to get the weight off, you can. You can move it to your pocket. Or if you want to just have it simple and have it on the side, you can do that too. You can change the battery out. We have, it's just a...
So is there a physical button on there that lets you change modes and turn it off and on?
There is. There's a button right here that's your power on button. Hold for 5 seconds, it turns on, and then it changes. There's basically two different modes with like a boost mode. So the first mode is a automatic mode, and it's basically just in standby. It's not doing anything until the moisture sensor inside senses at least 70% humidity. And it'll turn on until the moisture drops below 70% humidity. So it uses almost no power if it's in standby mode. Like you could leave this on for days and it'll just be there.
And it'll be working as you ride?
It's functional, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so the thing we wanted people to be able to just have options. If I don't want to waste my battery, if I let's say this is going to be in a humid environment, say in my trailer. Well, I want to be able to turn it off and save the battery so it's not sitting there trying to heat in a humid environment, right? So your gear bag's is a humid environment. Your trailer's a humid environment. The sled's a humid environment. If I have 2 pairs or whatever. So I can turn this off and save it so it's not sitting there trying to heat. And then when I put it on, I can turn it back on and I've got all my battery life left, right? Or if I forget, to turn it off and it's in a dry environment, it's going to last for days. It's not heating, so it's just sitting there in standby mode. And then there's a second mode that is a always on mode. So it goes from standby to just it's always on. So if you're just maybe continuing to fight it a little bit or you're not sure, you can go into that always on mode. That's the green mode. And then we have what we call max power mode. So in always on mode and standby mode, it's about 70% power. The max mode is 100% power. So we've given people the option to prolong the battery life as long as they want. But if they really need to really turn the heat up, it's just a crazy moist environment. You can go to max mode. This thing turns orange, and it's 100% power. So, yeah, it's going to use the battery quicker. At 100% power, you probably get, 4 or 5 hours out of it maybe. But in standby mode, or even always on mode, it's 8 hours. So the battery, we worked a lot on the battery life. These are actually special batteries that we helped develop with the factory to be a cold weather battery. And we want them to be interchangeable so somebody could keep a spare battery if they wanted to.
So you can just flip open the cover and swap that out?
Yeah, so the cover just opens up. There's a battery in here. And then when they ship, here's a big thing too. When they ship from the factory, they put a little cover on them to keep them from discharging. So you have to, when they're brand new, they won't charge or you can't use them until this cover comes off. So you got to open it up, pull the cover. You just pull the cover and then stick it back in there. This might be charged. I don't know. I just took them out of the box. Let's find out.
Then how long does it take to charge the battery back up?
To full charge is between 4 and 5 hours.
And does it come with a charger, or how does it?
So it's a USB-C port right here on the edge. Oh, and you literally just use that exact port to charge it. So any USB-C cable
inside this container.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So you can have them charging in the pickup in the trailer. Any USB-C charger will charge it. So see right here now, you can see it's on. Green lights indicating that it's on. And the mode will be that's always on mode. That's in standby mode, so it's not heating right now. And it'll tell you these indicator lights on the inside. The way you can tell is if you're in standby mode, the blue light on the indicator light will flash every 8 seconds.
But you can't see that when you're wearing it, can you?
You can.
Oh, you can?
Because it's inside the frame right there. So you can actually tell while you're wearing it what mode you're in and what it's doing.
That it's actually working. Okay.
Yep. And then another cool thing that we learned through testing is at dark, those LEDs are really bright.
Right.
So it's got a light sensor and it dims. It'll self-dim.
That's cool.
Just so it's easier on your eyes. Then, I can change to always on mode, or I can hold it for 3 seconds and change it to max mode, and then it goes orange. It'll stay in max mode for 2 minutes, and then it'll go back to always on mode.
Oh, that's smart.
So it doesn't deplete. It doesn't deplete your battery, right? So if you want to get that max mode, it's going to use a lot of battery quicker, right? So it'll stay there for 2 minutes, and then it'll default back.
So you can have the goggle on, and then just reach up and push the button to change modes and see what's going on inside.
Inside, so you don't have to wonder what it's doing. Yep.
God.
Yeah,
That's
really cool.
My GoPro could do that.
I've used some other heated goggles
Yeah.
and I'll write up and say, hey, what color's my light?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what mode they're on.
Yeah.
Or if they're still working.
Hey, is my GoPro on? Will you turn me on?
Yeah, that's awesome.
We've gotten that question a lot, and I don't know a lot about all the other goggles in the industry, but it sounds like there's some that they can't tell what the mode they're in, or if they're on or off or something.
Or if your battery's dead.
Yeah.
If you're wondering if it's working or not, and if it's not working, you're like, oh, shoot, my battery dead?
Yeah. And then the other option too, which is kind of fun. Yeah, is the remote. We have a Bluetooth remote, so you can pair it to the unit if you want. You can put this on your handlebars if you want. You can put it in your pocket if you want.
Can I pair it to Bruce's goggles?
Shut me off.
Yeah.
Shut you off right before you get stuck.
And it'll tell you your battery life, or how much battery you have left, and then what mode you're in. And you can change it from the remote.
Oh, cool.
And that's got a GoPro mount on it?
Yeah, GoPro mount. Yep. So if you want to put it on, you can literally put it anywhere you want. we use a GoPro mount.
Stick it on the side of your helmet. Stick it out.
Yeah,
Stick a button over here, button over here.
have 2 little wings.
Dustin, can you pull the battery out of the little container and then charge it in the pickup with the USB-C too, or does it need to be inside that to charge?
It's got to be in the control center, and that's a great. I'm glad you asked that because there's a couple of things. So this has an overcharge protection and a thermal protection. So it's got an overcharge, a depletion protection, so that you don't wear the battery out or ruin the battery. So it's a smart, it's a whole smart system. It's designed to work like that. And I just went ahead and pulled this one off so you could see like how it comes off the strap. There's like a little elastic retainer here, and you can just pull the elastic retainer off. Whoops, that's the wrong side. And then you just, work it back through. And then you can use the Y cable that I had here, put it in your pocket. And another cool thing that we played with is a lot of sleds have a USB plug on them now. If you wanted to plug it in, and just leave it plugged in full power, you can the whole time. Or if you have a little booster pack or a battery pack in your pocket, you could get 2 weeks of battery out of a booster pack if you had it in your pocket. Like honestly, the options are kind of endless.
So if it's plugged in to constant power, it'll run full power.
No, it'll still shut itself off.
It'll still back down. Okay.
Or default back after 2 minutes. Yes. Yep. All right. But theoretically, you'd have to just keep. If you were in a situation where you needed that heat, I don't know. Like I rode these and tested with these a lot, and I was never in that situation. Even at the Iron Dog, I had these at the Iron Dog, and I was never in that situation.
Yeah. I think vision is the make or break element of your gear kit for having a good day or a bad day.
For sure.
Like it's to me, it's like my most important thing. Like I take care of my goggles better than I take care of any of my other equipment. Cause if I put a hole in my jacket, I'll just take it down to John and we'll just grab the jacket. But my goggles, like I take care of my goggles. So going to let's take the heated E-Fire out of the equation. Just a standard goggle. What are your guys's? What's your regimen? Give everybody some tips on like making their goggle experience better. Lenses, how to care for them, how you store them. When you're out on the snow, what do you do? Do's and don'ts.
Do's, don'ts. I don't like to pull them off and set them anywhere that snow can get in there. Snow, dust, anything, any moisture. So I either keep them on my face, or else I put them somewhere in some type of protection so moisture can't get on the inside of that lens.
And if you take them off, if you do have to take them off, make sure that you pull them out and just tip them straight up so that the lens is facing up all the time.
Yep. Keep that lens facing up. I set them on my handlebars, face up in the sun or whatever. You just don't want to tip them at all to get moisture down there in there at all. And I always have a microfiber cloth with me of some sort. It seems like I always lose a little goggle bag, so I usually carry a cloth. Like
if you're wearing a Climb jacket, you have
socks.
You got it in your
my
pocket.
my buddy Rob Kincaid always carried a bigger cloth because he's like, those goggle bags are too small. So we always had so I always have a bigger microfiber cloth to clean them out if I do get some moisture in there. But I do have a Climb coat, so it's in there. But I lose it sometimes.
Yeah. Geez, it's attached. You have to
I
cut
know,
it off.
right?
How'd you do that?
I always leave my zipper open.
He didn't have socks that day.
He had to use it for something else.
Yep. See?
I try
cut it
not
off.
to touch the inside of my lens with my fingers.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or with the cloth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, once in a while you got to use the cloth. I try and pick. I take 2 pairs of goggles, sometimes 3 depending on the day, but at least 2, and then try and keep that case that they come in, and then that's what I put it back in my pocket. You know what I mean? Or I guess in the. I don't know. The goggle warmers on the sleds, they work, but they don't. I feel like they create moisture in there, and they never dry
clutches?
They never dry out.
out. Yeah. What?
Like the clutches? Is that what you mean by goggle warmer? We don't all ride Arctic Cats over here, buddy.
No, the little goggle warmer on the hood that you're supposed to put your goggles in and everything,
So when you're talking about cleaning the lenses, like that's one of the reasons we went to a quick disconnect lens style is because it's actually on the snow. I found is it's easier just to pop the lens out to clean them.
That would
so
be
if
nice.
you've got snow, let's like pop the lens out. Get the
snow out of that.
Get the snow out of whatever you got to do there so it can't get back on the inside. Use your chamois, clean it off, and then just pop the lens back in. It's a lot easier to control that.
Yeah.
If you can just get the lens out really easy.
If you wipe the inside of the lens, though, can you damage the coating?
The inside doesn't have the hard coating like the outside does. So you've got to.
But like, is there a soft anti-fog coating? I know on some lenses
There is.
If you rub that, like you'll smudge it. even if it's with cloth?
If you're soft with it, you're probably not going to hurt it as long as there's nothing sharp. I mean, dust is the enemy.
Yeah.
But if it's a soft cloth and there's nothing on it, you're not going to scratch it. And that's another thing a lot of people don't know too. I keep thinking of things that are kind of cool tech that most people don't understand. So there's a cellulose coating on the inside. That cellulose, the whole idea behind it is it's to absorb moisture to keep from fogging. And it will absorb moisture until it becomes completely
Saturated.
Thank you. And then when it does, it'll kind of start to look almost like orange peel. Mm-hmm. So if you've ever pictured the goggles up and you'd be like, why is it like all like that orange peel? That's because that cellulose has reached its maximum saturation of moisture. And if you just let it dry out, even just in the air, give it 5 minutes or not even sometimes 2 minutes, it'll release that moisture off that cellulose and go back to not holding any moisture, right? But that's how like if we're trying to buy time to not fog, there's 2 or 3 things you want to do. A large volume of air helps because it'll hold more moisture, right? Airflow helps. Venting through the foam is a big portion. These big areas with the foam, like that's engineered to give you more, to get that moisture away from your face. And then that cellulose also helps with fogging as well. But the biggest thing you can do, sorry, I kind of hijacked this a little bit. The biggest thing you can do is dry your goggles every night. That is the number one biggest thing. Like by far, get your goggles out of your helmet bag, get them out of the moist trailer, put them over a vent in your house, put them by the fire, do something and get a dry environment to get all that moisture away from both sides of the lenses and the foam. We've had guys be like, oh, I keep getting fog, and I put a new lens in it and it just fogged right up. Well, their foam is soaked full of water, right? And so it's like this really humid environment, and the fog has, like that moisture. When it gets near your face is warm. It turns it into a gas state. That moisture kind of becomes a gas state, and then it's going to try to the heat's taking it away from your face, so it's going to push it towards the lens. So you just have to, if you think about like the physics of what's actually happening there. Well, that's why we fog. That's one of the reasons we fog, is that moisture's trying to get away from your face, sweat or whatever it is, and it's going to stick to whatever it can. So that's where that super anti-fog coating that we put on the inside, it's not a regular anti-fog coating. It's actually something even more advanced, and that's why we call it the super anti-fog. Helps with that. But, yeah, all those things, big air pocket helps prevent fogging. Venting with the foam helps prevent fogging. The coatings, the cellulose, those are all things that we engineer into it to try to prevent fogging.
See, it's like when we had Dave on last week and we were talking goggles for a minute with Dave, and he mentioned that you see riders now that just have one goggle, but they carry like 2 or 3 extra lenses. Mm-hmm. Like I still carry 2 or 3 extra goggles because the frame, like
foam,
you're saying, the foam
Yep.
can get iced over or soaking wet or something.
And then it can't breathe Yep. And then, of course, the other thing, too, is how it fits to your face.
Yeah.
It's got to fit to the face. It's got to seal, or else your breath can get around it and get to the outside. So, like that seal and that helmet relationship that we talked about earlier, the fit of the goggle is really important. I've had this conversation with Brant quite a few times because he's got a fairly high nose bridge ratio versus where the helmet sits on his face. And I'm not saying that's uncommon. I'm just saying, like, in particular, I have kind of a similar problem, especially after I broke it. Now I got this big old bump here. And so you want to be careful about, like, how this bridge is going to sit as far as a comfort. You don't want it to rub or anything like that.
Yeah, see, for me, when I wear an edge, and I don't wear an edge, but when I wear an edge, I get pressure right here. Like
because it's sitting low.
Yeah.
The helmet's pushing it down.
Helmet pushes it down on my nose. So I'm a Rage. I'm a Aeon Eon guy. Everything. The edge works. Like I'll wear them every now and then, especially if I want to look like Dan Adams, just that F3 with the mirror lens. Like that classic
We
Dan
make
Adams
mirror
look,
lens in the other ones, too.
I know you do. But
You can be cool in the other ones, Ryan. And that's
Not
because
as
the
cool.
edge is the biggest frame. It's the biggest field of vision.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we didn't talk about is our goal with all of these was to provide the most field of vision possible. And we baselined a bunch of other lenses or goggles in the industry and also in the moto industry. And so if you start, like, you put your helmet on, you start comparing different brands of goggles and looking, you can start to see really fast. It's like, oh, I can't, I'm closed in. Or really, the bridge right here is really high. It comes up into the center of my eyesight, versus where your nose bridge should be lower and you should have that down angle up angle, side angles. Pay attention to that when you try goggles on, because you'll start to really see that field of vision. And for me, I mean, I was wearing the biggest field of vision goggle in the industry, and I still hit a tree. You know, I mean, it matters, right?
Well, you got to have your eyes. You got to have your eyes pointed in the right
You got to have
direction.
your eyes open. But imagine if I'd have been, you know, in a situation where I wasn't, and I was boxed in like a lot of the goggles can be.
I had a goggle experience a long time ago. I can't remember what it was, probably 100% or something. And I'm so picky with my goggles, I don't touch the inside of the lens. So I kept, like, after a ride or two, I would get this, like, cloudy
The film.
film. Well, with this cloudy area inside the goggle lens. I'm like, what the crap is going on? My eyelashes are touching the lens because they're so tight to your face. And I'm like, okay, that's a new one. But yeah. So if you're listening to this, please go out and try different helmets.
Yeah.
Try different goggles. Like, don't just grab what looks cool, you know.
And maybe take your helmet with you when you go try on your goggles.
Yeah. Go to a big dealer that has a lot of goggle options. And
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than spending a few $100s on a goggle, and then, like you said, you go in and all of a sudden you can see the foam on the inside, so your vision's kind of weird because goggles sit weird. So not a bad idea.
Or even your balaclava, too, because that'll affect the way it fits,
Yeah.
depending on how your balaclava fits.
I've got a buddy that will buy, I think it was last year, maybe it's 2 years ago, he bought a brand new pair of Klims and hated them. But now that you say, you know, the whole helmet thing fit, it was probably his helmet.
Yeah, because if it's pushing them down or up or whatever, like I've worn helmets and goggles testing where the goggle's so high, it's like at the bottom of my eyes.
yeah.
Or it pushes here and you have to breathe out your mouth the whole day.
Yep.
I used to wear 4 or 5 different helmet brands every winter because it was just fun to try different stuff. And you know, Bell Moto 9 was always a good one. There were a couple other ones we had in rotation, but it just got to the point where the goggles never worked great with the helmet. And so I just wear Klim F3 the majority of the time because it's such a big opening that everything works in there. And so now the helmet's not part of the goggle problem.
And if you wear a helmet that pushes the goggle further away, that narrows up your field of vision.
And you get gaps right here. You get air gaps.
Yeah. So like, you know, we know that with the Eon, we're quite a ways away from the face. So we had to work extra hard to get that field of vision back as far as the way that, so it's a frameless, that's something we haven't talked about. It's like what a frameless lens is. You can't see the frame versus like the Rage, you can still see the frame where the lens drops in. So usually a frameless, I mean, it has a frame. It's not truly a frameless, but we call it a frameless because you can't see the frame. The lens covers, the gasket is moved out to the very edge, so that gives you wider field of vision.
Yeah.
If you've moved that gasket out and bigger. So those are like the little things we kind of try to think of. And I'm not saying we're the only ones that do that. There's other people that do it as well, but we've tried to maximize it for the helmets and just, you know, provide the clarity. And then also the Super HD technology that we're using, that's pretty expensive. That high definition technology as far as the clarity through this, like a torque lens. This is called a torque lens. A torque lens matches the shape of the eye a little bit, and so the curvature up to down versus left to right is different. The curvature up to down is sharper. There's more curve to it in a torque lens versus the left to right, and that's for the clarity of the way your eyes focus. How many lenses you're looking through, how far a lens, like the further apart you get the lenses, it hurts the clarity. So if you start looking at different goggles out there and they've spaced those lenses out, it can affect the clarity. So all those types of little things, like how the lenses are positioned, how close they are, the shape, all that stuff makes a difference in that clarity.
All right. Well, you got anything?
I was just going to say, so the Edge you can get either with the E-Fire or without.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
You touched on something I was just going to make a comment on because it's my job is to complain about crap. Balaclavas. I freaking hate balaclavas. I hate wearing them. I feel
You love it or hate it. That's kind of
I can't move in them. I will freeze to the point of like maybe I'll get a little bit of a frostbite, but it'll go away in a day, and not wear a balaclava.
So have you tried a neck sock?
I have a few, yeah. I have.
That's what
tried
I'm
those.
using now.
Is it?
Is I'll have that neck sock, and I can pull it, like, so when I leave the trail, I pull it up over the back of my head to cover the vents. And then I'll ride up the trail, do whatever I need to do. And when I get there, I can literally, on the back, while I'm wearing the helmet, just pull the neck sock down. And then it's you know, letting those vents work and the airflow get through the vents, and it's not so claustrophobic. And then same thing in the front. I can pull it up over my nose, run down the trail a couple miles, and then just grab it, pull it back down. And I love the neck stock. That's kind of my go-to now. Unless it's just a crazy, like, ride short tracks all day, 70 miles an hour, like I'm not wearing a balaclava.
So next ride we go on, take that other stance sock you have and just pull it over your head.
Cut the top out.
Don't think that was
Cut
going
the
to be big
toes out.
enough. I got kind of, it's not going to fit.
I have small socks.
I know that. Yeah.
Small feet.
I have small feet.
I had to borrow some small socks that day.
Seems like the worst. It seems like the worst experience with the balaclava is if you do wear one, like wear one in, especially if like really cold morning, and then all of a sudden it opens up and it's awesome. Everybody goes everywhere, and then somebody gets stuck or you get stuck.
Oh yeah.
That's when it kills me. When I think I'm about to pass out because I'm like hyperventilating inside my balaclava. You can't get your helmet off fast
and
enough.
then it's saturated in sweat the rest of the day.
I hate
So
having
I
to,
don't-
yeah, because you get so much heat control around your head just to cover a little bit of skin. And it's like, I don't want it up here. I just want something functional that covers here, that's easy to move and get rid of. Take off. I'm not giving you ideas. You're looking at me.
No,
like,
but I'm thinking.
I'm looking at you like, hey,
I'm
I quit farming.
in defense. Like when I was on the Iron Dog,
Make me.
there was a day I had to wear two. I had every vent taped off, every vent inside the helmet taped, double taped, and I was wearing two balaclavas.
That's why I don't run the Iron Dog.
Well, and that, I mean, to that point, like you leave
And
your
taped
cabin,
on the
and
face.
you leave your cabin, and you're what, riding 1, maybe 2 miles before you can start heading up a hill. Maybe not even that. So that's different. If you got a 10, 15, you go up to Bone, you got to ride in 20 miles before you can actually get into anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
The Iron Dog guys are listening to this and gonna be like, "You pansy."
Oh, I'll admit it. I'll dare you.
I was a pansy.
I got nothing on those guys.
I'm from Idaho. You guys are tougher up there.
They are tough.
No, but I'll wear that like West Yellowstone. Like we've been up
Yeah.
there snowshooting. It's been like 33 below in the mornings when we're taking off, and so I'll wear like the big covert. I don't know what it's called, but it's got
The
like
GTX with the beak.
yeah, it's got
Yeah.
Gore-Tex in it and everything. Like, give me that all day long. In those situations, like, I'll
When
be
you need
first
it,
in
you
line
need
at
it.
the pansy booth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of love it or hate it situation. And we make like, I don't know, 7 or 8 different balaclavas, like thicker, thinner.
Yeah.
Some of them fold, some of them are tight, some of them are open, some have the beak, some of them don't. Some of them are long, some of them are big enough to go over the cuff, your collar. Some of them go in, they're longer. Like, I mean, we've tried about
So
everything.
I'm going to invent something that it's probably just going to be like a full like helmet body condom or something. You just put it on over the helmet and just pull it down, and it just no wind's getting through whatsoever. You know,
Like a downhill ski racer, just
and you wear that, and you can just barely move. You know, you can touch the handlebars, and you're just like cruising down the trail just to get to the trees.
Then
where
you
know
take your
get
condom
warm.
off.
Then you just peel it back off.
I can't breathe.
You have to be breathable, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
You're like 5 minutes of oxygen. That'll get us to the
I
trees.
think your brain's had 5 minutes of thought.
You're getting some pretty crazy ideas. Hold on, let me take notes.
I'm patenting that one.
The SnoWest body condom, Gore-Tex.
There we go.
What's that movie, Naked Gun, 33 and a third or something?
Yeah.
Like, was it? Yeah. Anyway, sorry about the little diversion there. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Like I said, we're gonna go test goggle frames. All of us. Maybe not Rhett because he doesn't show up. Maybe not you if you didn't show up.
Where
But
you
you're
at,
here,
Rhett?
So I guess you
That's
get
why,
Yeah.
that's why I
It's
came.
Christmas
That'll be
time.
fun,
Those
Ryan.
packages are important.
Yeah. No kidding. And we're gonna test goggle lens colors. So we're gonna do some testing with the E-fires too, and see how those things work. And we'll come back and we'll talk goggles again. We'll probably do a couple different episodes talking frames and colors and all that stuff. I'm really excited about the color stuff because I always stick around the orange, amber, yellow. But I want to try. You've got light rose, you've got light yellow, you've got persimmon, you've got just a whole different
Two
variety
different
of things.
photochromatic.
And it's hard to go buy those just to see because they're not cheap. So
Yeah. So we'll go figure that out for you. We will tell you what to go buy.
And everybody sees light different,
yeah.
too. That's the other thing is like what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for everybody else.
Which will be why it's fun to get like 5 people out testing it because we don't need to come to a consensus. Like that's not what we do as test riders. You know, we come back and I mean he's always going to be pro Arctic Cat, but we're going to be talking about like what sleds work for what we do and what we like and our riding styles and our heritage and everything.
Yeah. I was thinking, though, the boost will be nice for Bruce because he could finally have boost out on the snow. So the boost mode on the Edge E-Fire, that'll be...
You can have
There
booze.
you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can be on your cat with boost for
Yeah.
the first
Boost.
time.
Perfect.
You'll see
No.
what it's like.
No fogging away.
No fucking way.
had to throw that in.
That was perfect. That was perfect. Those shirts were popular.
Can you get us some of those shirts for this?
I never even got one.
No fog
We
in me.
got to the end of heydays, and I'm like, oh, I better go grab one, and they were gone.
No fog in the way.
I was going to ask, but I didn't think we had time because I got to get on the road in about 4 minutes. But when the Oculus came out, Klim guaranteed
Radius.
that they won't fog. Was it Radius?
Radius.
When
Oh
Radius
yeah,
came out,
we paid some
guaranteed.
tuition on that one.
What?
You know what's crazy was, I was thinking about bringing this up because not everything always works out the way you can do as much homework as you possibly can, and things can still go wrong, right? And in that case, we had teamed up with this company that makes fighter pilot helmets and lenses, and they had all this new technology and we guarantees and all this stuff. And so to test it, we were kind of behind the schedule. We rented a reefer trailer that would freeze inside it, right? And so we were going out in the reefer trailer. We had bikes in there. We were getting hot and sweaty and turned fans and all kinds of stuff, And there is actually a special test, and I put it in the notes here. I can't remember what it is, but they have a pipe that fogs, 2-inch pipe that runs direct fog up, and you put the lens over it and see how long it takes before it condenses over. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't get it to do it. It just wouldn't do it. And so we're like, perfect, new technology. We have it. We're going to kill it, right? Go to market. Didn't work that way. No, it didn't.
Never include
We thought we had it.
in
We
your
thought
marketing.
Yeah, we paid. Yeah, we learned a lesson on that one.
Yeah,
We learned a lesson. So,
Yeah, that's a fun story.
but we've learned a lot since then too, and that forced us to improve, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, Dustin Pancheri from Klim. Thanks for coming into the show today. A lot of great information. Really, I'm learning stuff.
fun. Yeah.
I'm learning stuff sitting here, and I've been in this industry for 35, 40 years.
That's awesome.
So I hope everybody's picking stuff up. If you're watching this on the SnoWest Magazine YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way to help us out. Go to snowwest.com, check out the magazine, check out the merch that we have to offer there. We've done 105 to 110 of these shows. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, scroll down there and check out some of the other episodes we've done. There's so much good content out there, and so much you can learn just by having an industry expert like Dustin Pancheri come in and just talk, because there's so much in your brain that can come out in a conversation setting like this that's just really educational offer. But thanks for coming on the show. Thanks to Broc Genta, Bruce Kerbs, Justin Stevens. Red, if you're out there delivering a FedEx package somewhere, see you next time. Make it in. We got to come in, and we still got some T-shirts to hand out and some stories to tell. So we got to get that episode going. But thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next episode.